I'm Shelley Hansen-Blake, and I am the president of CAPOW this year. CAPOW is the Community Alliance of Providers of Wisconsin. We're a network of community-based providers that support over 4,500 persons with developmental disabilities. CAPOW is committed to assuring that Wisconsin has a viable provider network to promote consumer choice, a strong direct care workforce, adequate funding, and appropriate regulations to enhance quality for people with developmental and other disabilities. CAPOW supports the values of the family care program. Number one, choice. Where and with whom to live and work, what community activities to engage in, and who provides the care and personal assistance that you need. Access. Access to an array of necessary services to meet individual needs and outcomes in their communities. Quality of individual health and social outcomes that improve the overall long-term care system. And cost efficiency to create savings to meet the growing demand for long-term care services in the future. In order for these goals to be met, a dedicated, direct support professional workforce must be sustainable. The DSP is an accommodation for someone with a developmental or cognitive disability. Look at it, the person that's providing the support is an adaptive aid for someone. Would you deny somebody a wheelchair or a cane or a hearing aid or a vision assistance device? The direct support professional serves the same function. The DSP assists the consumer to carry out their choices, gain access to community resources, and have consistency to achieve quality outcomes. In order to achieve cost efficiency, we need a stable, reliable, well-trained workforce that deserves the respect of the community and earns a living wage. CAPOW member agencies have recently reported several distressing trends in the family care expansion. I'll try to just categorize them and give some brief examples. One is a lack of communication and participation at both a high level and an individual member level across the stakeholders. There's been misunderstanding of draft documents that have now become required and are part of family care contracts that were in draft stage from the department with participation of CMOs. A rate-setting methodology has been developed and implemented without provider input or field testing. And on an individual level, providers are not included in a person's interdisciplinary team or in functional screening assessments to determine their level of needs. And guardians and family members have been notified after a decision has been made what the decision was, not before. We see a lack of consistent and uniform practices in contracting, reporting, how, when, and why rates are able to be changed. And one pointed example, the Wisconsin billing delays that cause such hardship for most providers. If there were a single biller and payer system in the state, it would take away the focus of the care management organizations on ensuring that payments and billing are correct, and focus them where they should be focused on the core values of the family care program and establishing best practices. Getting back to the rate-setting methodology, the implementation of the rate-setting methodology may not be valid, and we've experienced is not valid, for the population of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. To be fair, this population is a group that the care management organizations have not worked with previously, and there's huge differences in how you can provide long-term care for people who are frail elders or have physical disabilities and have directed their lives up until this point when they need assistance. There's a belief among the care management organizations that one residential setting can successfully be substituted for another, and their decisions are based on cost at that time. where the acuity-based rate setting system may be valid for people with aging needs and personal care needs, it is not valid for people with developmental, cognitive, and then other associated disabilities. So that the rate setting methodology has been put in place without testing or being approved by the department. And it's not in all of the care management organizations, but in a vast majority of them. When you look at the needs of people with intellectual developmental disabilities, there's a negative synergy when a person has multiple conditions, where adding personal care and a behavioral support together doesn't really reflect the person's actual needs. It's a more geometric than arithmetic complication. We've seen a lack of choice and involvement of the consumers in decision making. Reactive planning leads to decisions that might be short-sighted and ultimately result in more cost. Given the nature of people's disabilities, communication is oftentimes difficult. Individuals may need very concrete communication, may not have verbal communication, may not understand what choices are or where they're agreeing to live or renew services because they are not able to conceptualize what's happening.